never get tired of listening to that tune. What's up, everybody? It's Tuesday night. You're riding with the road crew. This is the Token and Hobbs show on the road to Liberty Network in association with ThinkLiberty.com. I am your host, Token, joined with my partner in crime, Mr. Guns himself, Dustin Hobbs. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Hello, everybody, and I hope everybody else could hear that tune because I sure as hell couldn't.
Oh, no? Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame. Well, anyway, welcome, everybody. If you're joining the program now, remember this is a live show. So if you want to be a part of the program, get onto our Facebook page, join the conversation. We're going to have your questions and comments read live on the air. So if you want to talk about the Iowa Caucus, if you want to talk about the shit show going on just across the river from me, now's the time to do it. So jump in, join the conversation, and we can talk shit about Iowa, something that we Nebraskans have a lot of fun doing on a day-to-day basis.
Yep. Yeah, that is very true. The thing about Iowa is Nebraskans don't typically have a whole lot of shit to talk about much of anything. But, yeah, we could talk shit about Iowa.
Yeah, especially those of us on the eastern side of the state, where all we have to do is look across that river at that shithole that is Council Bluffs to just feel better about ourselves and not living there.
Yeah.
Now, I know Iowa has its nice places. Des Moines is pretty nice. Iowa City, I hear, is nice. Never been. But God damn it, Council Bluffs. You just bring the average niceness of Iowa way down.
Yeah.
So you guys really, and no amount of Edward Scissorhand bridges and ketchup versus mustard bridges is gonna make your city nicer. Okay? You can pretty up your roadways all you want. You're still Council Bluffs. And the only place you're better than is Carter Lake. All right.
Yeah, Iowa kind of reminds me of this country bar that I used to go to when I lived down in Georgia. It was like whenever I was, I hadn't had a girlfriend for a while. I was feeling really down in the dumps. I was broke. I didn't have any money. All I had to do was go to Gillies for a night and just people watch, and you just feel so much better about yourself.
Irish is not so bad. Look at all these people.
Exactly. It's like, I'm fucking winning at life if this is what the rest of humanity is.
I mean, true story. Have you ever seen that show Bar Rescue?
I've seen a couple episodes. Yeah.
The only, and I mean the only bar he's ever failed to rescue was in Council Bluffs.
Okay, well, that tells you more than I ever could.
Yeah, exactly. Like the reason that it failed was because, one, the bar was named the O-Face, and they refused to change that name. They were just in love with O-Face for some god-awful reason, probably because they're in Council Bluffs, and that's the kind of thing that Council Bluffians find funny. And they were also fighting constantly, 24/7. They're like physically throwing each other through windows.
Jesus.
So that was fun. Anyway, we got some announcements to make before we get into the show. A couple guests coming on. The big one.
Yeah.
A couple big ones. The first one coming up next Monday, February 10th. One of my libertarian heroes and a man that has caused no small amount of butthurt among the wrong kind of libertarians. Mr. Tom Woods is coming on the program. I'm so excited.
Yeah. I used to be a huge Tom Woods listener back in the day, and then I kind of fell off of it. I don't remember what it was that, I just guess I just stopped listening for one reason or another. So I'm going to have to get familiar with his catalog again because guys got it where it counts.
Oh, yeah, the guy's got one of the most successful and most listened to libertarian podcasts out there. He's a New York Times bestseller. He worked on the Ron Paul campaign. Guy is a legend. And I was first introduced to him reading his book, Real Dissent. And that was a fantastic book. So glad I read it. And listening to his show, it's a great show. So excited to have Tom Woods on next week. Then the next day, February 11th, That's a Tuesday. Jake Lloyd is guest hosting the Token and Hobbs show. So we're very excited about that. I love having guest hosts on this show. It's so much fun to get a third perspective, right?
Yeah. The only problem with having guests on our show is that you and me have such a very seamless back and forth that it's kind of hard for our guests to get a word in edgewise.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll just tell them to take a shot before jumping on, and if they need to, tell us to just shut up so that they can talk. Like, okay, like, yeah, that's the thing about having guests. I'm always trying to check myself and make sure that I'm letting them talk a little bit. So yeah, Jake Lloyd's coming on the 11th. Mark Whitney is a presidential candidate for the Libertarian Party. He is coming on March 2nd. That's going to be fun. Lou Perez of We the Internet. He's going to be guest hosting Token and Hobbs on March 3rd. So looking forward to that. We have another guest coming on. You want to announce this? You were the one instrumental to getting this particular guest on the show.
Yes, I sent a little email, figured that it wouldn't be too bad to try, so I shot an email off, asked if I could get a certain John McAfee to come on my show to talk about cybersecurity issues and VPNs and cryptocurrency and whatever other rabbit hole he wants to jump down. And then I thought I'd be a little bit bold after he agreed to do that and ask for a second show. So he's actually going to be doing a Monday show with Token on the 24th of February, talking about his presidential campaign with him and probably Ben, if he wants to jump in on that too. And then he'll be coming on my show that Friday, the 28th of February, to talk about the stuff that I just said: cryptocurrency, cybersecurity on a personal or small organizational level, and VPNs, and how the government of Belize is forging passports for Hamas and whatever else he wants to talk about.
Now, real quick, this isn't going to be these aren't going to be live streams, I don't believe. No. Yeah, he doesn't want them to be live streams, which, okay. John McAfee doesn't want to do live stream. We're not going to do a live stream. John McAfee is the most interesting man in the world. He gets what he wants, all right? Yeah, so no live stream on that. Also, two more announcements. The entire road crew is going to be at the Libertarian Party of Nebraska State Convention coming up this coming Saturday. So if you're in Nebraska, want to meet the road crew, come on, just be there for the Libertarian Party. Come out, we're all going to be there. And then I am going to be at the Libertarian Party of Iowa State Convention, February 28th in Des Moines. So there's going to be a lot of people there. We're going to talk to them. We're going to have a good time. Look for me with the Think Liberty table. All right. Now the announcements are we wanted to talk about kind of a Richmond Part 2 kind of thing going on.
Right. So there was another gun rights rally that was held in Kentucky over the weekend, and it wasn't as big or high profile as the Virginia one down in Richmond a couple of weeks ago, but it did get quite a bit of media attention because rather than being fenced in with the Ralph Northam security cage of super duper security, this one actually had the Capitol building open to anybody that wanted to come inside. And there were several pictures of some very dapper goons come walking through the Capitol building. There's a picture, a very good one of a trio of them squatting down, doing the old Slav squat in front of a statue. And, you know, one of them's got a Russian partisan camouflage tracksuit with the 3 white Adidas stripes on the arm, and he's wearing.
Of course, it's Adidas.
Yeah, and he's wearing.
Russians are all about Adidas.
And he's wearing his Adidas balaclava, and they're all carrying AKs and stuff. So, you know, that was good. Of course, everything went off without a hitch. Nobody got hurt. No shots were fired. Nobody got arrested. Everything was peaceful and orderly, and they made their statement. Yeah, imagine my shock. However, the thing that I wanted to talk about and bring that up is not only am I very glad that this got, you know, some positive media exposure and everything went off without a hitch, but your typical comments that you're going to see in here, you're going to see one of two things. One, the left is going to be obsessing about penis size, you know, as you do, right?
Okay.
But the other one that I saw an awful lot of was a comment where people were like, "Oh, why are they wearing masks? Are they afraid to show their faces? Blah blah blah." And then of course there was the other one where it's like, "Oh, it's a bunch of white men out there with their guns again." Okay, I'll say
white people.
Yeah, fucking white people, right? Yeah, so I'll say that just to put a pin in that last one there. I'll say the same thing that I did as I said after Richmond. I don't care if there was a perfect representation of every ethnic group in America, or if every face in the crowd was white. Doesn't matter, because those people were fighting for your right too. That's all that matters.
Yep.
So stop making it about race. However, the other one, the one of why are they afraid to show their face? Well, one, the left loves to dox people. Loves it. Just loves to ruin their lives. Hey, did you know that your employee was out here, with this gun doing these crazy things? Well, that's one reason why they might have been wearing a mask. But if you look closely at the photograph, you'll see that all of them had an ID badge on them that had their picture. So they had to have removed their mask in order to get this picture made. The thing with the mask is that it completes the outfit. You look at them; they're all wearing like Adidas. One guy had a Gucci belt on, and they've all got like Adidas tracksuits, and they're doing the Slav squat and the balaclavas. It evokes the imagery. It's a meme amongst the gun culture. And if these lefties would do just 5 minutes of due diligence, they would know that by now. However, whether the guys that were doing it were just doing it for a laugh, like, hey, let's go full Slav to this thing, or if they meant it, the imagery that is evoked by this is imagery from the Balkans. Now, we all remember the Balkans, right? The Balkans, a bunch of people with very, very disparate ideological, political...
Those are the guys that started World War I.
Yeah, well, in a more modern context, the Balkans were an area where you have huge groups of people from different ethnic, ideological, religious backgrounds who were all forced to live together in the same borders under the supervision of an authoritarian superstate. And when that superstate fell apart, the whole region went to hell, and it's still simmering to this very day. There's a fucking lesson to be taken from that imagery. If you try to crowd people who don't get along together, once your authoritarian structure falls apart, and it inevitably will, you're going to have bloodshed. So take that for what it is. Don't let America become the Balkans because you want to push an agenda, and people who will have none of it are going to push back.
Speaking of authoritarian systems that fall apart because people... Sorry, I was muted. Speaking of authoritarian systems that that tend to fall apart, we had a little bit of a shit show yesterday in our favorite state of Iowa. Apparently, Iowa holds a caucus every year. It's not a primary, it's a caucus, where a bunch of people get together in a gym and they talk about their differences and the candidates that they like, and they all vote in person together on what candidates they prefer. And the Democrats were trying out something a little bit different this year. They were trying to use an app to keep track of the results, and that didn't go so well. Apparently, this thing didn't work at all. It couldn't keep track of the information. There was no help at all for these precincts from the Iowa DNC, and they would, for the entire night last night, we had no results whatsoever on how things were going. It got kind of comical at the end because all the candidates pretty much went out there and declared victory with no results coming in. I think it was, which one was it? It was a Klobuchar. She got out first and started talking about how she's punching above her weight. How she's doing this, doing that. Oh, I'm so awesome, guys. I'm doing so awesome. And then once that happened, the dam broke and all the other candidates were like, oh, shit. All these candidates were thinking, we need the bump from Iowa. We need the story coming out of Iowa to be X candidate is the front runner. X candidate has all the momentum going into New Hampshire. They needed that, right? Especially the radicals. Like Bernie Sanders needed that, Buttigieg needed it, Warren needed it, and Klobuchar especially needed it. And because of the clusterfuck that was Iowa, none of them got that, right? None of them got that post-Iowa bump. Now this Iowa shit is going to be, you know, with the impeachment proceedings wrapping up sometime this week, with the State of the Union address going on right now, the Iowa, because of the shit show it was and how we didn't get results until a few hours ago, this is going to fade into the background. And I guess that's good for Biden because he didn't do so well in the Iowa primary. The story coming out of here is not Biden finishes distant third, right? That would be the story. The story here is going to be Iowa Democratic Party fucks up hard.
Yeah. You know, it's one of my favorite YouTubers, Razor Fist. He put out a video this morning where he said, leave it to the DNC to manage to rig one of their own primaries in favor of Donald Trump. Because that's how this is going to go. That's how this is going to go. They look like a bunch of incompetent boobs, and Trump is just going to laugh all the way to the bank with this.
Now, I got to find this tweet that I found that the DNC had tweeted out. But yeah, it was absolutely hilarious. Just the level of incompetence this entire thing was dealt with. Here's the tweet. It's from the Democratic Party. For 3 years, we've been preparing for the process that officially kicks off tonight in Iowa, the Democratic presidential primary. Today, our chair, Tom Perez, reflects on the reforms we made to make this the most transparent primary in our history. Holy shit! Wow, what a failure.
Transparent, huh? Clear as mud.
Talking about tweets that didn't age well. First of all, you know, I think full transparency, not a primary, all right? Not a primary. If we're going to make fun of Donald Trump for saying that Kansas City is in Kansas and not Missouri, then you guys got to get the fact that Iowa's a caucus, not a primary, right? All right? So that's first of all. Second of all, most transparent in history. My guy, preparing for 3 years. 3 years. You've been preparing for this. And for it to be fucked up as much as it is, it's absolutely hilarious. And it just goes to show you how incompetent these people are and how you can't trust them with anything.
But they can run your healthcare.
Your healthcare, your retirement. They can run the economy, your education.
Centrally plan the industries. I think what is it that Bernie Sanders said he wanted to nationalize the other day? Something I don't fucking know.
He wants to have a guaranteed jobs program, all kinds of things. You know, all kinds of things we have to trust them with, but apparently we can't trust them with running a caucus.
Can't trust them to subcontract the creation of a smartphone app to handle a few thousand votes.
Yeah, it wasn't even that many, like 170,000 people, which is much lower turnout than they were expecting. How much you want to bet that the Libertarian caucus next week goes a lot better than this does?
Yeah, I bet it does.
Yeah, first time in history, by the way, the Iowa Libertarian Party gets to have an official caucus, the same as the Republicans and Democrats in Iowa. I bet you it goes a lot smoother, even though it's their first time doing it. So I want to read us a little bit something from Not Fox News, talking about the connection that Hillary Clinton, because of course there's a Hillary connection here. There's always a Hillary connection. I don't know how this woman is connected to everything, but apparently she is. So this is from Fox News. He goes, the app that was supposed to help the Iowa Democratic Party quickly report Monday's caucus results, but contributed to confusion and a muddled result as campaigns were in an uproar, is linked to Hillary Clinton campaign veterans. Shadow, yes, that's the actual name, Shadow.
Shadow app for a shadow government.
A little on the nose there, aren't we, Democrats? Shadow, a tech firm that describes itself as a group that creates, quote, a permanent advantage for progressive campaigns and causes through technology, unquote. Yeah, good job there. You created a very, very big advantage for Democrats with this app. Good job. We are all slow clapping you right now. Is the company that created the Iowa Democratic Party's app, according to the New York Times. At least the COO, CEO, CTO, and a senior product manager at Shadow all worked for the Hillary Clinton presidential campaign, according to LinkedIn profiles. Imagine my shock.
Lord have mercy. You know, I
Now,
think Jim said something in the chat about how this might just be a bit of a conspiracy to, cock it up on purpose so that Hillary can be like, oh, look how terrible this is without me. I'd better swoop in and save the day.
Oh, well, like things are better with her. I mean, come on, Hillary. We all remember 2016.
Hey, in 2016, though, you cannot say that the DNC did not run smoothly because it ran very smoothly in her favor.
I mean, it sure did. It's almost like they were cheating on her behalf.
Yes, it's like the trains in Germany under the Nazis. They always ran on time.
Here's the thing about this whole thing. Like Hillary Clinton, the Democratic Party essentially sold their soul in 2016 in order to favor Hillary Clinton. They ruined their name. Not that they had a good name in my book, but a lot of people, the Democratic Party had a name, had a brand that you could trust. They ruined their, quote, good name permanently with the way they acted in favor of Hillary Clinton during the 2016 election. They did all that because Hillary was the electable one, because she's the one that could beat Donald Trump, because Bernie was too radical, right? None of these other candidates could win. It had to be Hillary. They did all this on her behalf, and then she goes out and loses to one of the least liked presidents in history. Amazing.
But you've got something about that approval rating, don't you?
I do. We're going to talk about that later. We're going to talk about that later. I'm going to go on with a little bit more of this article. Shadow is associated with Acronym, a nonprofit dedicated to, quote, advancing progressive causes through innovative communications, advertising, and organizing programs, unquote. Early last year, Acronym announced that it was acquiring an SMS tool called Groundbase, and out of Groundbase, quote, launching Shadow, a company focused on building the technology infrastructure needed to enable Democrats to run better, more efficient campaigns. Well, congratulations, you failed.
Yes, big old red F on that one.
Yeah, that was a big no, I would say.
Yes. So I wonder, is acronym an acronym for something, or is that just like some type of edgy, tongue-in-cheek, like, ooh, we're so edgy, tech company, blah blah blah?
I mean, it's all capital, so it probably is an acronym.
An acronym for an acronym.
Yeah, there's companies named Acronym, and it's an acronym. I don't know what it's an acronym for. It's probably something incredibly stupid, though.
Yes.
I mean, naming your company Acronym is stupid in and of itself. I mean, what do we expect from these people, right?
This shit gives me heartburn.
It really does. But probably the biggest thing that the Democrats have to worry here is not just the shit show that was their caucus, but also the low turnout. See, it turns out the turnout in this caucus, it was expected to be sky high, because people were thinking, oh, well, Donald Trump is just the most hated man in the universe. Everyone's going to turn out to pick his replacement. It's the most important election of our lifetimes. How many times have we heard that? But no, the assumptions that they made about turnout in the Iowa caucus turned out to be wrong. I got something from the Washington Post to read to you. About 170,000 people participated in the 2016 Iowa Democratic Caucus, far short of the unprecedented 240,000 voters who turned out in 2008 and launched Barack Obama on his way to the White House. What was so exciting a dozen years ago was not only how many Iowans showed up, but who they were: young people, first-time caucus goers, an ethnically diverse mix of voters in an overwhelmingly white state. Until recent days, there have been plenty of buzz among Democrats that this year would set a new record. There was even some loose talk that turnout could reach 300,000, which would be incontrovertible. I can't read that word. Evidence of the passion that the party is feeling about the prospect of defeating President Trump in November. Turns out that the results they're getting right now show them to be on pace to match 4 years ago. 170,000 people. not the incredibly high turnout that they were expecting, some people were expecting, of 300,000. That is huge, right? And what does that tell you? That tells you that the excitement for these candidates is not where they thought it would be, right? It tells you that these candidates are not inspiring enough to get people to leave their homes, to get off their asses, to drive to a caucus location in order to sit in a gym with a bunch of sweaty assholes and argue it out for a while, right? Because the caucus takes a lot of dedication to actually participate in. And you're only going to do that if you really believe in the candidate you're going for. Now, one of the things about Iowa is Iowa's a very old state. A lot of boomers in Iowa, a lot of retirees in Iowa, right? Are they going to come out for Bernie Sanders? Nope. They're going to come out for Elizabeth Warren or Pete Buttigieg? No. Now, they might come out for Joe Biden, but it turns out they won't even come out to him. Right? Like, he may have gotten every single vote over the age of 50 that showed up. Problem is, not a lot of people showed up.
Oh, you mean to tell me that such stellar personalities as Bernie Sanders and Angry Klobuchar and Mumbles Biden aren't drawing crowds? I am shocked.
I am
shocked and dismayed.
Well, I'm not all that dismayed. I'm actually very happy about that. I mean, that's the thing about it. Turnout is indicative of the kind of excitement people have for these candidates. And yes, a lot of people are excited about Bernie Sanders, right? Just like they were 4 years ago. You know, a lot of people are excited about Elizabeth Warren, but are they excited in the numbers necessary to beat Donald Trump or to get out the vote, right? Like, I feel like no matter who wins, you're going to lose a big segment of the Democratic voter. I don't think people over the age of 50, Democratic voters that are older, I don't think they're going to show up for Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren. I mean, Bernie Sanders is practically an out-and-out communist. Now, he may deny it, but I mean, this is a guy that has never gone back on any of the positions he's had in his life. And he spent a very good portion of his life openly advocating policies that were enacted in Cuba or the Soviet Union, right? So, yeah, Bernie Sanders, he may not admit it, but he's practically an out-and-out communist. Elizabeth Warren, I don't think she has a chance with older people at all. They're not going to vote for those people, right? And the younger progressive crowd, are they going to show up for Joe fucking Biden or Pete Buttigieg? Are they going to show up for them? No. You know, as much as Buttigieg loves to say, oh, look, I'm a gay man, so vote for me. They don't like him because he's a corporate shill, and they recognize that, right? He doesn't have the same credentials that a Bernie Sanders does. So are they going to show up to vote for him? Probably not. All right, so it seems like no matter who they go with, they're going to lose a big chunk of their votes, and that could spell disaster for whoever ends up being the nominee.
Yeah, it could. It could, but there's also a fairly large movement within the Democratic circles of vote blue no matter who. And
it didn't work last time, though.
Yeah, I know, but a lot of people still decided to stay home after the DNC screwed Bernie Sanders over, and then we got Orange Man, who is bad. And so
very bad.
He is very, very bad. And so this time around, those people that stayed home because their candidate of choice wasn't picked, they might decide to bite the bullet this time and be like, I don't like Bernie. I don't like, Joe Biden or Bernie or Warren or whoever ends up getting the nomination, but at least they're not bad Orange Man. So
we'll have to wait and see. But honestly, like, say Joe Biden gets the nomination. I can see whether or not the DNC actually rigs it in his favor, and they might, right? It looks like they're already rigging it in Bloomberg's favor, allowing him on the debate stage, like changing the criteria for debates to allow him on, right? Whether or not the Democrats actually rigged the election for one of their old white men to be the nominee, I have a feeling that a lot of the Bernie bros are going to see conspiracy, whether it's there or not.
Yep.
And if that happens again for a second time in a row, are they going to show up for that candidate? And
No.
I know Bernie Sanders is going to cuck himself again. I know he'll get on his hands and knees and lick the shoes of whoever they put in there instead of him. I know he'll do that because Bernie Sanders doesn't have a backbone. His spine is as flimsy as his ideas. But will his voters? Because last time they didn't. They didn't show up for Hillary. And you know, as much as the Democrats want to deny it, with every breath they take, they didn't lose because of Russia. They didn't lose because America is secretly fascist. They didn't lose because American voters in general are just racist, inbred retards. That's not why the Democrats lost. They lost because Democrats didn't show up to vote for Hillary Clinton because she was a terrible, corrupt candidate. You know,
Right.
People want to show up for a candidate they believe in. If they sense that you're a liar, that you're a snake in the grass, that you're corrupt, that when you get in front of them and tell them something, you're not being truthful with them. If they sense that, they're not going to show up for you. And that's why Hillary lost.
Yep.
For all his faults, Trump supporters believed him when he was when he was talking to them. He came off as honest and authentic. Hillary did not. That's why Trump won. That's why Hillary lost. All right. Yep. So are Democratic voters going to show up for a Biden or a Buttigieg or a Bloomberg? Bloomberg probably has the least chance of winning if he's the nominee because there is nothing authentic about that man.
No. And Bloomberg is an absolute nightmare because all these others, like I believe Robert Francis when he got up there and talked about, hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15s. You know, I believed him when the other ones decided that they were going to pile on because, you know, Robert Francis, he didn't even let the mask slip. He ripped it right off. The other candidates got up and paid lip service to pushing gun control. Bloomberg is the one that I think is going to use every tool in the toolbox to make it happen. And he would be an absolute nightmare. You want to see Richmond times 1,000? You want to see American Balkans? Put Bloomberg in office because that's what's going to happen. Day one, that motherfucker is going to get out there and he's going to pen some executive order telling the ATF, because thanks, Trump, for banning, because you banned the bump stocks and the Supreme Court upheld it, you set a precedent that ATF interpretations carry the force of law. So that motherfucker Bloomberg is going to get out there day one. I know it. He's going to tell the ATF, hey, guess what? Because a semi-automatic has the ability to be bump fired with or without a bump stock. You can do it with your belt loop. You can do it with just your finger. You know, just because it has that capability, all semi-automatics are a machine gun now. Guarantee it. And because of Trump's little bump stock ban, they can do it now.
Yeah, thanks, Donald Trump. These are all the people that think Donald Trump is some kind of Second Amendment champion. He is not. He is an enemy of the Second Amendment. You know, a lot of people say don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. All right. Well, don't let the evil be the ally of the bad. All right. Don't accept bad because something else is worse. All right. Champion something that is good. Advocate for something that actually stands for the ideals that you believe in. Don't settle for Donald Trump because Hillary Clinton is a piece of shit. There are better options out there. And just because you don't like the Democrat doesn't mean you have to accept the tyranny of Republicans, which unfortunately a lot of Republicans out there are more than happy to accept Republican tyranny so long as they keep the other team out of office.
Yep.
Right? That seems to be the way it is. So we have some preliminary results out of Iowa. Now, last I checked, only 62% was reporting in Iowa. And it looks like Buttigieg is in the lead with 29%. Sanders is in second with 25. Warren third with 18. Biden comes in at fourth with 15. And in sixth is Klobuchar at 12%, with everybody else getting like below 5%. So that seems to be the preliminary results. Now it could change. Buttigieg is only like a percentage point, almost 2 percentage points above Sanders. So he can easily lose But I mean, what's the actual delegate count that's going to change here? It's not going to be that big of a difference. The problem for Buttigieg, of course, is in the rest of the country, he's polling like at 7%.
Yeah.
He didn't have a ground game anywhere else. Iowa was like his big thing, and he needed a big bump coming out of it, and he's not going to get it. Even if he wins, that news story is going to be buried. That momentum is going to be it's going to be washed over in a cloud of other news stories. The Trump impeachment, the State of the Union, the Iowa caucus fuck up. There's going to be a million stories going on, and Buttigieg winning the actual caucus is going to be buried in that. So is he going to get a big old media bump from this? I don't think so. And he needed it.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, there's a lot of people out there, you know, hollering conspiracy, like, oh, they're stealing it from Bernie Sanders. And, you know, at first it kind of seemed plausible, but if they were going to steal it from Bernie, they would have given it to Biden. I honestly think that Buttigieg is polling the way that he is polling in Iowa simply because of geography. The boomers in Iowa are probably like, hey, he's from Great Bend, Indiana. That's basically right around the corner. So he's a good Midwestern guy like us. Let's vote for him. So
I have no way of knowing.
Yeah.
So Iowa, at least right now, goes to Buttigieg. So good on him, I guess. Sanders won this 4 years ago, so we'll see where we go from there. The next contest is going to be in New Hampshire, and we have polls from New Hampshire right now. Bernie Sanders actually leads the pack there. You want to guess where Buttigieg is on this list?
5th?
4th, actually. He's way down at 12%. He's actually – wow. I just saw Bloomberg's number from it. You want to guess what it is?
4.
Whatever you think it is, it's lower.
4?
Lower.
2.
Lower.
-8.
I don't know how you get -9. It's 1.5.
Ooh.
1.5 for the millionaire from New York. Oh, goodness gracious.
The other billionaire from New York.
Yang and Gabbard are polling better than him. Steyer. The hell is Steyer? I don't know. I don't even know who that is.
Tom Steyer is a guy who he's another rich businessman, and he's like patient zero of Trump derangement syndrome. I mean, it was like the polls closed in 2016, and he was out there buying YouTube ad space about how bad Orange Man is. I mean, he was on it, doggone it, from day one. So, you know, it's no surprise that he's throwing his daddy Warbucks behind it, because he's been doing that for almost 4 years now.
Well, he's ahead of Bloomberg, and like I said, Yang and Gabbard were still ahead of him. But Bernie Sanders is the clear favorite, it looks like, in New Hampshire. He's polling at 24.9%, so almost 25%. Biden's coming in at second at 17%, with Warren at 13% and Buttigieg at 12%. So it's looking like Sanders is going to run away with New Hampshire. And Buttigieg way down at 12%, and he has like no ground game anywhere else in the country. So I don't expect Buttigieg to go forward and win this thing. Right? I don't expect that at all. I expect Sanders to win New Hampshire, and after that we go to Nevada, and Biden has to win. He has to pick up a win somewhere there. We'll see. We'll see. It's looking, though, like the progressive vote's going to go to Sanders and not Warren, which is a real shame, because I would have loved to see the first Native American president. Dude, the memes alone would have been worth it.
The memes in the past couple of years have been worth it. I saw one that was a fake tweet from her today talking about how the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. It's like, I'm so glad my people won. Go Chiefs.
I'm still holding out hope for Biden versus Trump, because that'd be the funniest race in the history of all races.
Yep.
I mean, come on now. But we'll see where it goes. Sanders coming second. Maybe he might actually win Iowa. We'll see once the Iowa Democratic Party fixes their shit. We'll see.
Don't hold your breath.
Carl says Pete wasn't ahead in any polls in Iowa except one near the end. I don't know what to tell you, man. He's beating out Biden. He's beating out Warren. Right now, he's barely ahead of Sanders. I mean, maybe they have official results out right now, but I don't know. Last results I saw, so Buttigieg in the lead. So that's a surprise. I didn't know that he actually had supporters.
I didn't know that Angry Klobuchar was even still in the race. You know,
isn't she like the angry person that likes to yell at her staffers?
Yeah, that's why I call her Angry Klobuchar, not Amy Klobuchar.
Man, that's absolutely
she's the gal that ate a salad with a spoon and then threw it at a staffer or something like that because they brought a spoon instead of a fork, and she like nom 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 nom, and they're like, wash that.
A natural reaction.
Of course, as you do.
That's what I would have done. Isn't that how you treat the help? You throw things at them? I mean, of course, everyone does that. So, of course, we haven't talked about their opponent yet because the Democratic shit show has just been so prevalent right now. It's so fun to talk about. But there was also a Republican caucus, and Trump won with like over 95%. Poor Bill Weld got about like 1%. So slow clap for Mr. Bill Weld there. I'm so glad that you decided to join the Republican Party and jump in the race. I'm sure you're getting a lot of attention doing that right now.
Yeah.
What's that? Is it crickets I hear? I'm hearing crickets right now. I don't think anyone gives a shit that Bill Weld is in this race. Least of all, Bill Weld. It's kind of... So Donald Trump, let's talk about Donald Trump for a minute because Donald Trump has some good news. I'm going to read you from Bloomberg right now. It goes, nearly half of U.S. voters approve of Donald Trump's performance as president, according to Gallup, the most since he took office. Trump's approval rating reached 49% in Gallup's latest poll of American sentiment towards the nation's leader, as his support increased both within the Republican Party and among voters who describe themselves as independents. Trump's high watermark came as the Senate prepares to likely acquit him in his impeachment trial. About 50% of registered voters said they disapprove of Trump's performance. He enjoys the support of 94% of Republicans and 42% of independents, Gallup said. That's the most support he's ever enjoyed within his party and ties for his highest level of support among independents. But Trump's approval ratings among Democrats plunged to just 7%. Big shock. I'm surprised 7% approve of them, quite frankly.
Yeah, that's the 7% of people who actually, can begrudgingly tell the truth.
I mean, this is obviously terrible news for Democrats. So not only did they have this terrible turnout for their Iowa caucus, not only is their appointed leader, Joe Biden, losing bad. Not only did this shit show occur, but Donald Trump actually has the highest approval rating he's had in years among both Republicans and independents. 49%. If Trump goes into the election at 49% approval rating, he wins.
Yeah.
He wins. I mean, he might even lose the popular vote again, but he's still going to win. Because, again, the Democrats are going to run up huge numbers in California, New York, Massachusetts, places like that. They're going to lose the swing states again. They're going to lose Iowa. They're going to lose Pennsylvania. They're going to lose Ohio.
Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota.
They have to win these places. And if the Democrats are doing themselves no favor with this stupid impeachment trial that nobody gives a shit about anyway. The only people I see actually talking about it are Democrats, and they're in denial about how it's going, right?
Yeah.
So they got that going for them. This dumb impeachment trial, instead of focusing on the election, which they should have done. Maybe Iowa would have been such a shit show if they would have just focused on that instead. So, yep, Donald Trump, 49% approval rating, best he's had in years. That's bad news for Democrats. And it's not me carrying water for Donald Trump either. I'm a libertarian. I want the libertarian candidate to do well. Right? Whoever ends up getting the nomination, I want the libertarian candidate to do as well as they possibly can. But it's kind of humorous to me to see all these Democrats who've been talking about how awesome they are for the last 4 years just completely shit the bed when it comes time to actually doing the thing they're supposed to be doing. Get your act together, guys. Jeez, this is embarrassing to watch.
You mean running a farce of an impeachment trial ad infinitum is not what they're supposed to be doing? That's not the thing.
Yeah, apparently not. All right. So, yeah, Donald Trump, 49% approval rating. Good for him, bad for Democrats. We'll see. And libertarians will get like 3% again. I don't think we're going to be affected by that. We'll see.
I don't know, man. A candidate like Vermin Supreme might just have the novelty to get people out in numbers, and I'm not being facetious when I say that.
I mean, he might. Like, I'm not.
Absolute clown show that the Democrats are putting out there. You throw a guy like Vermin, who is a clown show from go, man. He's just gonna dance circles around everybody, and everybody's gonna be like, you know what? The guy with a fucking boot on his head is the sane choice in this race.
I mean, I like to choose candidates based on how easy it would be for me to go up to someone's house and talk to them about the candidate. I can't see myself going door to door talking about Vermin Supreme. It's like, so who's your candidate? Well, he wears a boot on his head. 1. 2, he's the only candidate who has promised to go back in time and kill Adolf Hitler.
Sign me up.
Mandatory teeth brushing. He's free ponies for everybody. That's a bit. You wouldn't go to someone's house and advocate that. That's just bizarre. You're just going to be the stupid person doing that. I mean, I do know you a little bit. I don't think you would do that. Show me the receipts. All right. So there's a few other stories I want to talk about that go in the everything is racist category for right now. Did you, by the way, watch the Super Bowl this year? I know you're not a sports fan, but maybe you watched the Super Bowl.
Nope.
No, I didn't watch it. I did.
I haven't even looked up the halftime show yet because I've seen enough memes. I think I got the gist of it.
Oh, it was funny. Shakira looked right in the camera. Me and my brother just burst out laughing when we saw that. Like, what the fuck was that? You fucking weirdo. Way to represent Puerto Rican cultures. You go in the camera. Is that what Puerto Ricans sound like to non-Puerto Ricans? Right? You know how like Swedish Chef and the Muppets just apparently that's what Swedes sound like to. Is that what Puerto Ricans sound like to Americans? I really don't know. So, here's the thing about it. The halftime show was very risque. All right. J-Lo and Shakira were doing a striptease on stage. It's not a controversial thing to say. They were. All right. I have eyes. I knew what they were doing. All right. But apparently it's very, very racist to say that. Apparently, if you think that it was a striptease and not some expression of high art, you were a terrible racist. So apparently, because J-Lo's Puerto Rican. Apparently, I'm racist against Puerto Ricans now because I thought it was a striptease. A very well choreographed and very well performed striptease. Don't get me wrong. It was a very talented striptease, but a striptease it was. So I'm going to read you a snippet from a website called sheknows.com. And this website is fucking garbage, and it was very hilarious. This article, by the way, it pisses me off to read this thing.
Give me just 1 second here. I gotta tap a vein so I can get the chemo ready.
This article legitimately pisses me off. All right, it's by some white lady. Just so you can prepare yourself, it's for some white female liberal. All right, it's a little long, so bear with me. Was I wrong to turn on the halftime show for my 3 children this morning before school? Absolutely not. In fact, it was so important to my white middle class educated privilege kids to see J-Lo and Shakira's epic performance. If I had turned off the TV as my friend, If I had turned off my TV as my friends urge, if I had scoffed at these women's clothing and choreography, if I minimized their performance, wrote it off as simply sexual, that would be peak white feminism, which is also peak racism. What? It gets better. What are they doing? One of my 5-year-olds asked while watching the performance. Well, what they were doing was laying back on their backs with their legs open, rubbing their nether regions. That's one of the things they were doing. They're dancing. Isn't it beautiful? I responded. Look at their footwork. Not what they were drawing attention to. Stop it. Stop pretending they're drawing attention to their footwork. They're literally rubbing their nether regions in your face. That's what they're drawing attention to. Just don't talk to me about their footwork. All right. And their choreography. I bet they worked a long time to learn this dance and these songs. My kids nodded in agreement. Very woke kids.
Yes.
These kids are. Yeah. Nowhere during the entire viewing exchange did anyone mention J-Lo or Shakira's outfits. I wonder why a bunch of little kids wouldn't mention their outfits to their mother. Who they probably know would chastise them to no end if they said something about it. It's like, wow, Mom, those women, wow, look at those outfits. They look good. Look at all that skin. I wouldn't say that to my mom. Why do you think these kids are going to say that to their moms? Jesus Christ. Sure, this could be attributed to my kids' deeper attention to their morning waffles, but it is not lost on me that our collective infatuation with women's bodies and clothing is in itself a result of patriarchy. There's the magic word, patriarchy. Infatuation with women's bodies and clothing. I don't know. I would have assumed that would have been that would have been because of biology, not patriarchy. But what I'm just a stupid male, right? I'm just a straight heterosexual male, cisgendered male. I don't know anything about any of this. I need this white woman to tell me about how awesome J-Lo's Hispanic performance was. Thank you, oh wise lady. You are so helpful. I lost my place. Yes, the patriarchy conditions us to only see women as shells. It also conditions us to limit women. Women can either be powerful and talented or sexual and shallow. No, I hate how these people, they take a performance like this, which is obviously sexual in nature. If you have eyes, you know that, and try to pretend that it isn't, and not only pretend that it isn't, but belittle you for saying that it is. Right? I'm not saying that they shouldn't have done this show, right? I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Oh my goodness, it's horrible, it's awful. It was what it was, right? It wasn't out of place for the Super Bowl halftime show. If you've ever seen one of these, they're always in risque outfits. It always has sexual undertones. It always has that. But only this year is criticism of that deemed racist for some reason.
Yeah, it's just the victimhood, the desire to be a victim is so great with these people that they're just going to read in oppression where there is none because they gotta have it. It's like a drug. They gotta have their oppression fix.
Absolutely. It goes on. As a parent, had I chosen to turn off the TV or chastise these women's dancing and clothing like my friends had, all those awful racist friends, the opportunity, this is the part that really pissed me off, the opportunity to celebrate Afro-Latinx, Arab, and Latinx culture. Stop calling it Latinx. God damn it. Fuck.
Is it Latinx?
Latinx.
I like Latinx.
I like the Latinx. They're my favorite people. They have the best dance moves. Fucking Latinx. I hate that shit. Latinx culture, activism, female autonomy, and freedom of expression, and the Spanish language would be non-existent. As a parent raising both girls and boys, it is more important to me for them to see me spend more time and energy advocating for the end of a culture of white supremacy and toxic masculinity, for the end of family separation and cages at the border and jail cells, and for a society where white women aren't quick to judge brown women's choice of expression in the name of feminism and decency. Oh, yeah, you got it right. Blah, 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 blah. So I got two other stories I wanted to get to. One that is all about how you are a racist if you are a white person and you move to a nice neighborhood. Yes, you heard that right. You're a racist. Essentially, I'm not going to read the article, but essentially the argument comes down to this. Racism is doing anything that increases inequality. So if you're white and you do anything to make more money or better your life or the life of your children, that's racist. And you're a racist. How dare you, you evil racist person. Essentially, they're saying increasing inequality between the different races is racism. So anything you do to do that is an act of racism, right? So if you're a white person and you move out of a bad neighborhood into a good neighborhood so that your kids can go to a better school, you're a racist. If a black kid can't do the same thing, you're promoting inequality, right?
Right, but what is
so apparently you're just supposed to take one for the team.
What is stopping people from moving? Like I never did understand that. It's like if a white person that lives in a shitty neighborhood can pack up their shit and go to a different, nicer neighborhood, what is stopping the other people from doing that? There's not some invisible wall. They're not wearing shock collars with a boundary that they can't get out of the ghetto. You know, they can go anywhere they want to just the same as anybody else can. And if you can't afford to, maybe it's time to sell off some of your shit. Maybe it's time to make a different lifestyle choice. Maybe it's time to, eat the cheaper food or do, cut out a couple of bills. Don't have a fucking HBO package or whatever else it is. Pinch pennies until you can get out of the shitty neighborhood and give your kids the chance and the opportunity rather than bitching about it.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
sorry.
No, that's that right there is just the one thing we've somehow managed to. People use the term urban when they say like troubled urban youth. They mean black. Why? What is it about cities that people think black people have to live in cities? Nothing is stopping you from moving. You don't have to live there.
Yeah, I remember when my family lived in South Florida. We lived in a pretty ethnically diverse neighborhood. Like my family was Puerto Rican. My two best friends there were black. It was a pretty diverse, and it was a nice middle-class neighborhood with lots of diversity in it. Imagine that. So, were all the white people that moved there also racist? I don't know. The logic of this article makes no sense. We were going to talk about white liberal ladies paying money to be told how racist they are. I don't think we got time for that.
Pay me. Give me money. I'll tell you whatever the fuck you want to hear.
Yeah, apparently it's a program. It's a program called Race to Dinner. Race to Dinner, where white women, and they exclusively target liberal white women. Right? They don't target anybody else. Just liberal white women. They're the only people they target, and they charge them $2,500 per person to do this, to come to their house and explain to them why you're racist because you're white. Apparently, the only people stupid enough to fall for this scam are liberal white women. Because they don't do it to any conservatives, because those guys are hopeless. They're beyond reach. I would say it's just because they're not as stupid. They're not stupid enough to fall for this crap. Apparently, it doesn't work on men either. Apparently, men aren't stupid enough to fall for it either. Just liberal white women.
Well, these are the women that are gonna fucking die childless with their cats. So.
Now, here's the thing about it. It's not. I don't think it's that. I think they're buying virtue points. That's what it is. Now they can go out to their friends, right, to all their other woke, rich, gated community friends who, according to the last article, are all racist because they live in these rich neighborhoods. So they can go to their friends and say, oh, these black women, these precious black women, explain to me my inherent biases, how I am just the worst kind of person, how I am just so racist and awful for being white. Isn't it tragic? And they can all go, oh, you're such a good person. You're so virtuous. You're so woke. Amazing that you paid these women $2,500 to tell you that you're a racist. And now you get to come to us and brag about it and pretend that you're some woke, virtuous person because you were willing to spend a lot of money giving black women money just to tell you that you're a bad person.
So what is this
sorry, you're not good for that.
Is this like the carbon offsets of racism or something? You pay $2,500. You pay $2,500 to sit around and get browbeaten by a bunch of strangers about how terrible you are, and then you can, continue your shitty lifestyle as shitty as you want to, because if anybody brings up the fact that you're a shitty person, you can be like, oh, well, I paid $2,500 to get told I was a piece of shit, so...
I got my pass. I got my certificate.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we should probably get to the winners of this caption contest.
Yes.
So what we started doing this week, actually, we started having a caption contest on our Facebook page where I post a template, you guys caption it, and the winner, both me and Hobbs, choose our favorite memes and show them to you guys and feature them on the show. So the same guy posted a bunch of memes, and me and Hobbs both picked different ones by the same person. So the winner of tonight's caption contest is Philip Adele. I'm going to show you. This is Hobbs's pick. The template is SpongeBob dropping a brick on Squidward. And SpongeBob is captioned libertarians, and Squidward is captioned other libertarians.
And I chose that one because it's topical, it's the God's honest truth, and it's just simple. It's 3 words, and any libertarian that looks at it will be like, yep, that's true.
So that was Hobbs's pick. Here's my pick. I love that. It's me. SpongeBob is captioned me. Wait a minute, where'd it go? There it is. SpongeBob is captioned me. The brick is captioned Epstein didn't kill himself. And Squidward is captioned normal conversations. Yes, everybody, remember, keep that light alive. Keep the meme going. Epstein indeed did not kill himself. And we got to keep reminding people forever and ever and ever of that fact.
Yep.
Absolutely. So I think that's it. We did an hour. So anything? Oh, wait a minute. We didn't talk about you earlier, I don't think.
Nope, we didn't.
No, we didn't. So you should say something about you. You have something to say. So
yep.
Out with it.
I dropped a little letter in the mailbox yesterday. I filed, and I am currently running for the 3rd District of Nebraska for the U.S. House of Representatives.
Yeah.
So Adrian Smith, I'm coming for you.
And he is naked and afraid.
Politically.
Naked but unafraid.
Yeah, something like that.
That's gonna be your slogan. Naked but unafraid.
Yeah, but I guess disclaimer, Think Liberty does not endorse me. Blah blah blah. Yeah, so they try to stay neutral, they don't endorse candidates. So they don't endorse me, even though we work with them. So yeah, don't take my candidacy or the things that I say as a reflection on Think Liberty at large.
Nope, it's just him.
Yep.
And him alone.
Yep, all by myself.
All by myself. Please stop. No one wants to hear that.
Okay.
Who's your opponent again? Who's right now out there?
Adrian Smith is the incumbent, and I don't know if there's a Democrat yet.
I mean, Nebraska's 3rd district. There's Democrats in Nebraska's 3rd district.
Could have fooled me.
Who knew?
I know it's almost the entire state except Lincoln and Omaha. So
yeah, pretty much.
I got a lot of ground to cover. A lot of
parts, yeah, it's a big area. All right, so we're gonna wrap that up right there, everyone. If you live in Nebraska's 3rd district, ooh, what do you got there?
I got this little 3D printed Claymore Roomba that I made at school tonight.
We need to make. Have you ever played like a tabletop war game?
Yes.
Or like Warhammer or something like that?
Yes.
Well, there you go. That the Boomba is now. You got to make that. You got to write that into the rules of a tabletop game. The Boomba.
Secret weapon.
Secret. That'd be awesome. All right, everybody. That's it for now. Remember, are you doing an episode on Friday?
No. We're gonna be down at the convention, so
That's right. I forgot about that.
Probably not gonna be doing anything. If we do anything this Friday, it'll be, us at the convention. So.
Well, I'm not gonna be there Friday night, so maybe you and Ben. But I am gonna be there Saturday, right? Okay. So we're gonna be doing live streams on Saturday. So if you want to see that, go ahead and tune in. Remember, everyone, the website is think-liberty.com, think-liberty.com. Remember to like us on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, or on YouTube. All the good places. If you want to see new episodes of the Road to Liberty podcast, have to go to Think Liberty and subscribe to their stream. All right? So go out, do that right now. Think-liberty.com is where you find us. So that's it. Have a good night, everybody. Remember, stay sane, because the world will not do it for you.